What's going on, VC? I am going to be here with a pickups video, my first that I put in a long while. That's not an unboxing. Starting to get some real good stuff getting in, so I'm going to try and do once a month, just pickups in that whole month. So I'm going to do one for this month, and also after this I'll do one for the month I did before, because I got some killer stuff last month. Really good stuff. Just killer stuff that I never thought I'd get for good prices. So, first I've got a bunch of stuff here from a garage sale that was down the road from me. They had some records. They had this, that, all this junk, and they were cleaning out stuff because of the lockdown we had last year. She was just cleaning, and then wanted to do a garage sale, and she managed to do one. So she had records there, and they were a mixed bag of stuff. Like there was Dean Martin, there was Marty Robbins. I think it was a Frank Sinatra, and there was just an album of his, My Way, which I had. It was not bad. I got rid of it. And he had, she had a bunch of, Dolly Parton stuff, which I've been getting into. I got into her during, just as the second lockdown started. My mum's dad gave me a bunch of records that were his and / his wife's that passed away. And there was a Dolly Parton greatest hits in there. And I started listening to that, and I heard those songs, and with some of those songs, I'm like, I've heard that one somewhere. I heard that one somewhere. So many. And I listened to more on Spotify, and it was more of that. So, and then I was watching a Simpsons episode, and she appears on it. So she's been everywhere, so I have known her, and now I'm just watching her interviews, everything. I've just, last year, really, really got into her stuff. Now, I didn't buy a Christmas disc, which I'm thinking about getting, but yeah, I've been a great fan of it. So I saw these records, and I thought, they're $1 each, and she said she's going to chuck anything else out if whatever doesn't sell. So I saved them anyway. So this is 9 to 5 and Odd Jobs. What has the track 9 to 5. It's got a few covers on here. It's got House of the Rising Sun, Deportee, Detroit City. I think there was one other cover. And it's basically her outfit. She looks almost, shows that especially that one looks like Dora Lee in the 9 to 5 movie, which I watched. Not bad. Yeah, there we go. She looks more like Dora Lee in that one. And this is a Australian pressing. Not many Dolly Parton stuff were pressed here in Australian vinyl, but this is one of them. It says there. And did come with the inner. And this thing, and that's what our label looks like. But this thing is mint condition. Mint. Out of all the records, out of all of them, this I think is the most mint. And look at that. The price has just been, this got marked down in price at Myers, so it must have been sitting there for a long time. So maybe where it was, Dolly Parton wasn't popular and then someone finally bought it. Because that is a crazy amount of price stickers. So the next one, I'm keeping that one. The next one is Dolly Parton's Here You Come Again, her album Here You Come Again, which has Here You Come Again. And it's got also God's Colouring Book, Two Doors Down, Cowgirl and the Dandy, Sweet Music Man. This one's an Australian one too. I'll pull it out. This one actually had it in a sleeve as well. Some of them did, some of them didn't. And this one's a gatefold. Well, it looks like that. get it in a shot. Now, this one's in really good shape as well. I don't think it had an inner sleeve, I'm not sure. It is. Oh. Hang on. The inner sleeve crushed. Yeah, this one's in almost mint condition, but not as mint, I think, as the 9 to 5 and Odd Jobs. Now, this album, it has 4 good tracks on it, but I found it's very pop, not country. I love more when she's country. So this album, for me, it was $1. I listened to it. I just saved it just for it getting chucked. And of course, this has the dreaded peeling of the laminate. So, yeah, this I don't know. I've listened to it a few times. It's not an album I like. Got it more to save. It does sound great. So this one got up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. So $10 and it's yours. So stick that right on the side. I'll get to the next one later. So this one is her covers album, The Great Pretender. Basically just got covers of 60s and maybe early 70s. And to be honest, I like this one than this cover. So this one was almost $11. Gee. And it's gatefold. Which the American one, it looked like this was the inner sleeve. We got a gatefold. Look there. So this is released on RCA's label called Star Cow, which I guess is their cheaper label, because this was a cheap album. And it's side 1's in really good shape. Side 2, especially the first track, She Don't Love You Like I Love You, that's got a lot of scratch. That's got some scratching. Not too bad, but $1. I really tried listening to it, and I was like, couple great tracks on here, but not the best. This is a dolly dud, I call it. And so this one is up. I'll sell this one, which there's a couple ones I'm selling. Put that where the subwoofer is. Now this one was a disappointment. This one was a disappointment. It's a compilation I see everywhere. It's called Both Sides of Dolly Parton. Now, great songs on here. This one actually has some good songs, and certain songs that aren't on either of the compilations I got. Great songs. Minus just the condition of the disc isn't the best. Look, if I can get a good shot of the grooves. Just look how many songs have been crammed onto this disc. Holy cow. Both sides are like that too. And this thing sounds bad. Like bad. The surface noises, I could have cleaned it, but I'm not gonna bother to clean it, because even with it clean, the mix they use on this sucks. It is terrible, and you see this everywhere. This is a popular compilation, and it's just awful. Oh boy, I really got some dud dolly stuff. So this is the worst out of all the ones I got. So, if you see this, yes, it has great songs on it. Don't get it because this sounds like crap. Alright. Now, we're getting into some really good stuff. Really good pickups. I've got Now the first one is I got the stereo music on vinyl version of Kind of Blue, which then this, even though it's digital, it does sound really good, really good. And it comes with a extra disc that has the 2 outtakes of, it has an alternate take of Flame and So sketches. I don't know how to say that. But it's basically an alternate take, and then you got an extra song called Ungreened Dolphin Street. So it's just an extra. But you got the main album with the first disc, and it's basically a gatefold. This sounds fantastic. But of course, the day after I get this, or a week after, that's when the UHQR by Analog Productions is coming out. So now I've got this, and before that, I actually got this. I got this, which is the Music on Vinyl Mono. And the only reason I got this was silly me. I was in a rush that day when I was at one of the record stores, and I didn't see that it has no mention of stereo. Because it has on top. If you get the stereo one, it has this on top, which this one doesn't. Dumb me. It did sound great though. For a mono, it sounds really good, but the stereo just spreads everything out so much better. Might be 1959 stereo, but it sounds much better than this. Much better. But it's fantastic sounding, so this one I'll have to sell. I'm selling. Getting rid of that. So someone will want it because there's people that love the mono stuff. And there is a version of this that is on blue vinyl, which I did not get, thankfully. So, the next stuff is a bunch of hi-fi. Bunch of really good hi-fi stuff. So I thought I started out here with went to an audiophile store down the street from me, Audio Reference Recordings, and there's a Analog Productions ran these. It's called It's called The Wonderful Sounds of Music, and this is basically a compilation of Christmas songs. A lot of it with this album, it's really chill, laid-back lounge music. So you've got here Nat King Cole, the Christmas song, Merry Christmas to You. Baby It's Cold Outside by Ray Charles and Betty Carter. Christmas Time Is Here. You got Charlie Brown, Please Come Home for Christmas. The more upbeat one, I'd say, would be Rocking Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock, Ave Marias. It's a great compilation of songs. This one, from what I've read, is digital, and it has a sticker there, 180 gram. There's a 200 gram one. There's going to be no difference in sound. They'll both be the same, just one's heavier. But you'll not be disappointed when you get this. It does sound fantastic. I played it even though it's not Christmas, just to listen to it, and it's really good. I have a handful of Christmas stuff, and when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. Because Analog Productions, they put out some killer stuff. Alright. Good. Oh, I think you saw it. So the next group of records here I got is more Analog Productions. They finally they reissued the Doors stuff. So I've got here, they're self-titled, and they usually put this on if it's 100% analog, because they either do analog or best sources. And this is 45 RPM, 2-disc. I had the original, not an original, I'd say. I have this is a pressing in the early 70s by Columbia House. And it's a single disc record. I won't open it, but it's in really good shape. It's got a tiny bump on the first track, but it plays fine with no noise. This sounds really good. I can't find this on Discogs though, for the life of me. So it's not on Discogs, but I know it's that. Don't know where it was made, but it's early 70s. And I've also had this one, which I'll show, which is my next one I got. So I've got pretty much two Fantastic Doors reissues. Now, the Columbia House sounded really good, really clean, but this, with 2 discs, 45 RPM, and it didn't bother me because the songs were all longer than usual. This, I don't know the best system in the world, but this sounds amazing. Amazing. Worth the money. Worth the money on this thing if you can get it. Just get it. That's all I'll say about that one. Just get it. It's amazing. And this actually showed me, because they reran it and it's a new rerun, it had the ad for Miles Davis Kinda Blue, the UHQR. So I saw it on there, and that was after I got the Kinda Blue, and I'm like, I just bought this, the Kinda Blue music on vinyl stereo, and I had the mono before that. Now this, I'm like, man. So now I want to sell that to get the UHQR. But that's going to take months. Now, with People Are Strange, or Strange Days, this one is an original Australian. And I found this with this original CD. A lot of it, it's very flat sounding. Certain songs have a tiny bit of body in it, but this original CD just sounded a little flat. This, it's a little bit better. The mids and highs sound amazing. It sounds great. The bass, it's definitely got more there than the original, so it's got more in this, and that's the main reason I bought it. This sounds so much better. It does sound, well, not so much, a little bit better. Not amazing in the bass department. Everything else sounds amazing. Bass-wise, it's a little bit better, but you can't really do too much with the original mix. So, I'll show you one of the discs. Mimicking the American Elektra label, which I actually had an original American copy of the self-titled, and it sounded great. This one sounded a little better, I'll admit. I'll have to say that. But the Analog Productions just beats every version down. I guarantee you, it beats every single version. It beats every version. The only downer is it's 45 RPM, which I find for me, you don't want to swap it way too much. Yeah, it's just me. Maybe you hi-fi guys love it. Me, as long as I'll give it this. If it has to have more discs and be spread out, is when there's too much music on one side. Which the Doors, you could argue with the first album, there's maybe too much with Light My Fire on it being 6 minutes long, and with The End. But, so I'll give it with the first album. The others, I don't know. And I've got LA Woman, an original Australian. That one sounds fantastic. I'm thinking about getting the Analog Productions one. I don't know. But the rest, I'm going to get Waiting for the Sun. Just even original American or Australian. Whatever. I'll have that. I'll have that. Keep that. So at least I got these two. I love those. And this one is my first MoFi. Foreigner. It's self-titled. And I saw this. It was really cheap. Same store. So for why not? Why not get it? And these are out of print too. There it is. It's a later number. So, it's got, there's their label. And it has, this one must be a later because it's advertising their one step. So, yeah, their one steps. So it must be so it must, as soon as they started their one step. And this sounds really great. Much better. I had an old Australian. It was not bad shape, but great songs on it. I saw this cheap, so I thought, why not? Why not get this? It sounds fantastic. Much better. The drums, it's got more to it. Really, really great sounding drums. Great sounding. It's fantastic. Great vinyl, everything. So, if you see it, pick that one up. It's a recommendation for me. Really good mobile fidelity, and hopefully, because I'm going to Moorabbin Record Fair Sunday, they have the Carole King one, not the one step. I'm not going to get the one step. I want to find the single disc, because that album is going to sound amazing. Another good one is finally it has came to Australia. This came out in 2020. Finally is out here. This is Amy Winehouse's first album, Frank, 1 out of 2. And this is the Abbey Roads half-speed remaster on 2 discs, as it should be, because I've seen this album, the normal Back to Black copies, they're on 1 disc. They're all crammed on 1 disc, which you could say it's not too bad, but I've heard reviews, I've even listened to a torrent of it, not as good. This one is definitely much better, got more room to breathe. There is a little bit of compression and the drum machines are a little but all in all, really good. And these, I think with these, once they go out of print, these are what Amy Winehouse fans want. These are what they want, because these are much better, much better. I've got the Back to Black one, and that is really good sounding. Too, much better than the original. All the other issues on single disc. And final pickup is the Muppet Show. Yay! Found this finally. I had a copy of this that I found for $1, and it was in shocking shape. Even cleaning it, just nah. But this is in mint. Cover's almost mint. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm just going to sneeze. Cover's almost neat as a tiny bit, but this thing is just like, wow. And it's a gatefold. Great pictures there of Kermit. And maybe a little shot. And the disc here is just really good shape. Look at that. This, I will admit, maybe they should have made this a 2-disc. But this is more of a case of they turn the music down a little bit, and if you have a good copy of this, it'll sound great. But if they do a reissue of it, that's much better done with across 2 discs. You betcha I'll get it. Certain things need to be spread across, but this is really good. So if you find it in great shape, I don't know how common it is to find these in great shape, because it's a kids record. Get it. And And as a Muppet fan, because I grew up with the Muppets, this is great. It's got some of the good songs on it. So it's got here like, well, of course, the theme song. You got Mana Mana, Mr. Bassman. They're halfway down the stairs. I'm in love with a blue frog. I think it's a Frank Sinatra cover with Mix Piggy. My Love by Fuzzy Bear, Haka Haka. But yeah, they have more music. They have more records. Do you want to get those? But they've got to be in great shape, like this one. So that is my pickups of the last month, which is March. And so great pickups for that month. And glad I can just go out record shopping, do everything. I might have said it before, but it's just so good to do what I can do now. So, as always, keep enjoying that vinyl, keep spinning it, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.